Bonjour tout le monde. Today we're going to look at some verbs that have spelling changes as we conjugate them. This is called l'orthographe, which means spelling, l'orthographe. Some of them are reflexive and some of them are not. And you'll see in the bold printed words, that's where we're going to see the big change happening. So just really quickly, you remember se lever, which means to get up? Well, this verb, when we conjugate it, that means we take off the R, right? We get rid of that R and then we conjugate it. What happens is the first E gets an accent grave. What is an accent grave? An accent grave makes the sound eh. So we have je me lève, tu te lèves, il se lève, elle se lève, on se lève. And notice as well that in the il and elle plural, it sounds the same. Il se lève, and then elle se lève. Okay? Where it changes is in the new form. Nous nous levons, vous vous levez. No accent grave over that first E, so it sounds like e. The difference between grave, e, and a regular E, e. So je me lève, but nous nous levons. All right, that's se lever. Let's look at se promener, which means take a walk. Same rule applies. I'm going to get that accent grave over the first E. So it will sound like this. Je me promène, tu te promènes, il se promène, elle se promène, on se promène. And then my il and elle plural as well are going to be il se promène and elle se promène. Let's get my reflexive pronouns in there. Okay, next one is acheter. You might remember acheter means to buy. It's not reflexive, but same thing here. We're going to have that E with the accent grave over the first E there. So, j'achète, tu achètes, il, elle, on achète, ils achètent, and hear that liaison between the S and the A, elles achètent. Okay, but in the new form, there's no accent mark, so it's achetons. And in the move form, no accent mark, acheter. J'achète, tu achètes, il achète, elle achète, on achète, but nous achetons, vous achetez. Ils achètent, elles achètent. Try repeating them and practicing along. All right, now we have 3 more verbs that we're going to look at. The first set is what I call a GER verb, and verbs like it are manger and nager, to eat and to swim. This one is voyager, which means to travel. You'll see that it's conjugated just like a regular ER verb. The only difference with these 3 verbs that we're going to look at here is in the new form, and then once we get to appeler, also in the vous form. Okay, so let's look at the first 2. The whole reason behind this change, where I'm adding this E, or I'm adding this accent mark, which is called a cédille under the C, is because of this O. That O would change the sound of the consonant coming before it. So this C would sound like a K if it didn't have the cédille underneath it. And this G would sound hard like a G instead of J because of the O if I didn't have the E there. So let's look at what they sound like. Je voyage, tu voyages, il voyage, elle voyage, on voyage. And then because I've kept this E here, right, I didn't drop it from my infinitive, I can say nous voyageons. If I didn't have that either, it would be voyagons, and that wouldn't sound very well. Vous voyagez, il voyage, elle voyage. Are you practicing your pronunciation? You can watch this video again and do that. All right, so for commencer, I'm gonna same thing. I'm just gonna conjugate it like a regular ER verb. But when I get down to the new form, I have to add that accent mark under the C so that it's soft. So I have je commence, tu commences, il commence, elle commence, on commence. And then in my um, plural forms, I have il commence and elle commence. You can see how they sound the same. But for the new form, I got to put that little cédille, that little squiggly under there so that I can say nous commençons, commençons. And then you can see vous commencez. No accent mark, but that's the vous form. All right, let's look at s'appeler. You know, s'appeler means to call yourself, right? This is how you say my name is. And this is a verb that gets kind of trashed a lot when it comes to spelling. Main thing you want to remember here, you've got one L in the infinitive, and that nous in the vous form is going to do the same thing and have only one L in the infinitive. You'll notice this is reflexive. I call myself. So you are used to je m'appelle. But do you usually have two P's and two L's when you write it? You must have two P's and two L's or it's not spelled right. And they're all going to be like that. Tu t'appelles, il s'appelle, on s'appelle. Oh, sorry, elle s'appelle. On s'appelle. And then when we get to the new form, nous appelons, vous vous appelez. And then il s'appelle and elle s'appelle. I hope you guys were patient with me as I corrected all those mistakes I made. I just typed this up really quickly. All right, guys. Try that out. Try that pronunciation. Okay? You're going to use these verbs to complete the Google form. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Au revoir.